Hello users. Today we'll unbox and compare F-29 Retaliator. The game was developed by Digital Image Design and published by Ocean in 1989. First, let's take a look at the box. This is a promotional Amiga release, which was bundled with the Amiga Flight of Fantasy pack. The image used on the box cover is concept art of Lockheed Martin's proposal for the Advanced Tactical Fighter program. It was painted by Sid Mead in 1988, well known for among others his work on Blade Runner and Tron. It is also used in the game's title screen. But those of you who played such games on 8-bit computers will also remember it from Digital Integration's ATF. The actual F-22, which eventually entered service in 2005, looks a bit different to the one in the game. Most notably, it hasn't got canards. Let's open the box. F-29 Retaliator comes on two 3.5-inch discs. This is the manual, which contains loading and gameplay instructions. The game is set in the early years of the 21st century, when the experimental next-generation fighters were expected to have entered service. You can choose to either fly the F-22 based on early designs of Lockheed Martin's fighter, or the F-29 based on Grumman's X-29. A forward-swept wing design capable of high angles of attack, which never entered service. Each aircraft is represented by a quite detailed 3D model with minor differences in their cockpit views. The higher your selected military rank, the more difficult the game becomes, but more points can be scored. Available weapons comprise of both real and fictional air-to-air and air-to-ground missile types. Depending on your selected rank, the payload you can carry may be limited. Four theaters of operations are available, giving a total of 99 missions, the briefings for which are only available in this manual. The game can be played by keyboard, mouse, or joystick. The HUD looks plausible, providing basic flight and weapon aiming information. There are 3 MFDs in the cockpit with flight data, map and radar pages. The manual is also written in German and French. Now, for a final look at the box contents. F-29 Retaliator was initially developed for the Amiga. The graphics look very nice, with fast-moving and very detailed 3D models compared to other sims of the time. The audio is also good, featuring a nice engine sound and some basic weapon launch and explosion effects. But all this comes at the cost of limited realism and world size. Indeed, the play area sometimes feels limited, with its boundaries being very easy to reach when flying at high speeds. The flight model is very simplified, with pitch and roll but no yaw control. Furthermore, parameters such as angle of attack, weight and drag are not simulated. So your aircraft will not bleed energy during maneuvers and will generally fly where the nose is pointed, at a constant speed corresponding to the throttle setting. As a consequence, you'll have to land on your nose wheel, which fortunately doesn't lead to a crash. On the other hand, blackouts and redouts are possible. As well as stalls at low speeds. Aircraft systems include, among others, a moving map and a simplified radar, while flaps don't seem to have any effect. Weapons delivery is simple, but radar and missiles are only effective at close range. Dogfighting against the computer-controlled MiG-29s is very easy, but they tend to ram you, so you'll have to be extra wary of mid-air collisions. 2 versions exist on the Amiga. The new one having various corrections and improvements, while the older a different title screen but very impressive rear cockpit views, which look identical to the screenshots on the box. The new rear views, though, provide better visibility. The sequel to F-29 Retaliator was planned to be released in 1991, and a preview mission was included with Zero magazine in 1990, a video of which you can find on this channel. Unfortunately, Retaliator 2 was cancelled, as the company had to focus on releasing Epic, which was based on an improved version of the same game engine. And indeed, Epic's graphics and handling bring F-29 to mind.
Digital Image Design kept working on their simulation engine, improving graphics and realism for subsequent successful games such as TFX. Now, let's take a look at the conversions. The Atari ST version released in 1989 is almost identical to the Amiga. It's got some improvements, such as crosshairs on the missile camera screen and better blackout effects. The PC version was released in 1991, featuring among other improvements, a title music track and additional views, such as the heads-up view, which can prove useful during dogfights. Furthermore, blackouts can now lead to loss of consciousness, and the flight model is slightly better, simulating reduced lift at low speeds and speed loss during maneuvers. This means that you can now land on your main wheels. On the downside, the sound is not as good, especially that of the engine, which is better to be kept deactivated. The PC version was also ported to the FM Towns and NEC PCs in 1993. It looks identical to the PC version, but its music and sound is by far superior. Let's see them side by side.
Summing up, although not as realistic as other simulators of the time, F-29 Retaliator has got a fast game engine, with very detailed 3D models, and it's easy to play. So, it quickly became very popular among gamers. Let's see the rankings. That was a memorable game. Stay tuned for a playthrough on a real Amiga. But in the meantime, here are some more videos for you.